Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Behind the Scales, the reimagined edition.
Yeah.
I'm Ryan Harrison, president of your Welland Jackfish, alongside with
Spencer Tangley, voice of the Jackfish.
We're here again. We're at our reimagined show, different formats. We're going to be bringing to our fans this season. We're going to be bringing on different guests. We're going to do some behind-the-scenes footage, different projects we got going on in the field this off season, so to speak. We can't wait to see everybody at the field, but we're really trying to bring something new to the fans, keep relevant, and keep in front of everybody.
Yeah, it's tough, right? Not playing baseball. We're trying to come up with as many things as we can, and there's so many things to talk about. This is a great way to bring you behind the scenes of Jackfish baseball.
Now, without further ado, let's bring our very first guest on the show, Mr. Brian Sloan. Brian, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Now, for the fans watching at home, Brian is the former Welland Pirates general manager. And many of our younger fans that probably don't know who the Welland Pirates were. The Welland Pirates were a professional baseball team that played from 1991 to 1994 in the New York Penn League out of Welland Stadium, where the Welland Jackfish currently play today. Brian, we just want to ask you, how you kind of got started with the Welland Pirates, from your first year in 91 to when you left with the team in 1994.
Well, I came on in 91. I'm from Montreal originally, so being a Canadian kid, trying to get a break in baseball, there's only so many teams you can work for. So I was lucky enough to land my first job with the Welland Pirates, and was a sales representative and sold sponsorships, tickets, and got involved in the community. I was part of Big Brothers, Big Sisters, and then also the Kiwanis Club as well. So you know how it is. You play baseball for 2.5 months, and you got to stay relevant for the whole year. So you got to be very active in the community.
For sure. That's one of the Welland Jackfish kind of mandates is, even actually right now we're giving back to the community through charitable donations and different things like that. Actually, just last Tuesday, we
the bat flip.
Well, we did the bat flip challenge, but we also honored one of our season ticket holders. She was retiring after 30 years, and we went to surprise her with our mascot and gave her a nice gift and the whole thing. So we're trying to do that stuff. I guess another question I had for you is, how did you jump on with the Pirates? How did that all come about?
Well, I went to the baseball winter meetings in 1990 in Los Angeles. They have a job search program there, so that's where a lot of people get their first break into professional baseball. And you really, put your suit and tie on and go around with your resume. And I was trying to meet as many people from the Canadian teams. Obviously, right now, for affiliated baseball, there's just the Vancouver Canadians that's left. But back in the day, they had teams in Hamilton, obviously Welland, Calgary, Edmonton, Ottawa. So there was more minor league baseball teams that you can go and try and get your first break in. So that's where I got started. Baseball winter meetings. I always tell everyone who's looking for a job in baseball, you got to go there, meet as many people as possible, and that's where you're probably going to get your first break.
Brian, talk about Welland itself. You came from Montreal, you stayed, and then you come into Welland. Your thoughts of the Rose City when you first got here?
Well, in between Montreal and Welland, I went to the University of Western Ontario in London. So it was kind of a nice transition to go from big city to medium city to a smaller city. So, it's just Welland has that, it's minor league baseball. It's a small town feel. You go to a grocery store, you walk in, you go by people every day that you see at the ballpark. I loved my time in Welland. I still connected with a lot of people. Last summer, actually, I brought my son to Welland, and we got to see a lot of the folks that I got to know. And I felt like, even though it was almost 27 years ago, it felt like I never left. I mean, just very warm community, and just thoroughly enjoyed my time last summer. And like I said, just a great city to be proud of. You guys are lucky to have the Jackfish there, and compliments to you.
Thank you. Yeah, we I really feel like we hit a gold mine. Unfortunately, after our first season, we were very successful at the time, but we hit obviously a roadblock like everybody else with the current pandemic situation we got going on right now. But we're always looking for new things to do with the community and get people to the stadium eventually. But I just want another question I had for you about just Welland as a whole for minor league. You guys did fairly well when the Pirates were here. I think the average is around 1,000 people a game, which I mean, when you play every day, that's pretty good. What do you think the main drivers were to get people here? Was it the team, the stadium? Was it just the overall the city kind of got behind the team? What was the feeling?
Well, I think, the time I was there, the Toronto Blue Jays were winning back-to-back World Series. You had the Buffalo Bisons down the road drawing 1 million fans a year. At St. Catharines, Blue Jays were 10 minutes from your ballpark. I mean, so much baseball, very concentrated. Everyone was so into the game at that time because of the success of the Blue Jays. So it's just, there's just a lot of, opportunities to see professionals. There's only 12 rows at the Welland Sports Complex, right? So, I mean, you get that close to, professional baseball players. It's quite unique. And I think that's, very special in terms of going out to a minor league baseball game.
What do you miss most about this stadium? Because this stadium is one of the, most unique stadiums around. Like you mentioned, only 12 rows, you're right in on the action. And it's a stadium that has a lot of character. What makes this stadium so special in your eyes?
Well, it's just the intimacy, you can hear everything on the field. You can hear the coaching staff talk to the players. Players can interact with the fans. You just don't get that going to a major league game. So I think it's just, when I went from Welland, I went to go work in Erie, that's where we had a larger stadium there. But then 19 years after that, I was in working in Everett, Washington with the Everett Aqua Sox. We only had 18 rows. Affiliated with the Seattle Mariners. And, we had Felix Hernandez that, played when he was 17 years old. He was 10-2, I think. And just to be that close to, that great talent, I think makes it very special, whether it's in Everett or Welland. We had Tim Wakefield that played there, Scott Bullitt, Tony Womack, who won a World Series with the Arizona Diamondbacks. So it's just that intimacy. And plus, the other great thing about the complex is you have plenty of parking. You never have to worry about parking, that's for sure.
For sure. We all know that Welland Stadium's a great venue for baseball. It still is to this day. Is there anything when you were here that you would have changed or added or improved upon?
I can never understand. I mean, they should have backs to the seats for all 12 rows, because I don't know if it's still 6 and 6, but but I mean, I think that's it would be a no-brainer to have backs to all the seats. It's like I said, you can always have a better scoreboard. You can always, the sound system, and I'm sure you guys have improved on that since I was there. Yeah. It's, I think for the level of baseball, it's a great facility.
How special is it, you being the GM and involved with the team for pretty much the duration of when it was in Welland? You come back, you said last year, to Welland, and you mentioned some of the key players that were part of the Pirates organization. How special is it when you see a player move on and do something really successful in his baseball career?
Well, I think that's what makes minor league baseball so special, is those accomplishments they finally, because figure only out of a roster of, let's say, 30 guys, 2 guys are going to have a chance at making it into the major leagues every year. Not even like a successful career, just to get to the major leagues. So you got to play upon those successes. And, we did that with Tim Wakefield. I don't know if you guys know the story with Tim Wakefield, but, they were going to release him, the Pirates. But he playing third base, he was batting just over 200. And they said, hey, but he'd always play around, like during infield, he'd always throw this knuckleball to the first baseman. And the coaches were just like, wow, this is ridiculous. I mean, this knuckleball is amazing. And they said, hey, Tim, do you want to try pitching? He's like, no, I'm not going to. I don't want to pitch. I'm not a pitcher. I want to hit. He's like, well, you got 2 choices. We're going to release you as a third baseman, or we're going to give you another shot as a pitcher. And the rest is history. He went on to be very successful and had a long career in the major leagues throwing that knuckleball. So it's funny how those things work out. For
sure. The team obviously moved in '94 to Erie, and I know when talking to old fans, it was quite a shock to them for the team to get up and leave. What did you feel the reasons why the team left? People talk about different reasons here and there, but the Stompers stayed around and stuff like that. So, what was the in your opinion, the number one reason why they got up and left?
Well, I think that it came down to the owner at the time, Alan Levin. He felt that the time that we put into the community was probably I think we pretty much tried every promotion out there at the time, to try and gain interest and for people to come. But the biggest challenging part is what I alluded before. You have Skydome selling out 2 World Series, the Buffalo Bisons, tons of fans. The Blue Jays are just 10 minutes down the road, and Hamilton is not too much further. You had the Niagara Falls Rapids just over the border. That's a lot of baseball in a very piece of footprint. So I think the population at the time I think was 48,000 people. And so when you're surrounded with that much baseball around you, and you're just pooling your attendance from really just Welland, Port Colborne, just some of the smaller communities around. I think that we kind of reached the potential in terms of how well we could do in the facility and in the town. Really nothing against the city. Like I said, it's tremendous support. I just think the owner felt, they're building a 6,000 seat stadium in Erie, Pennsylvania. And it just comes down to just business. The franchise, the value of the franchise definitely increased in value. And that's what the ownership was looking at and the investors they had in the team at the time. So definitely bittersweet. There's no question about it. I was first thing I came back last year to Welland, and the people that I know, I've talked to them, but first thing I said to him, I kind of apologized for, leaving Welland. I personally felt very bad about it. So
Sure.
it comes down to business, right?
Yeah.
What do you think the difference, like you look at baseball in 1990 to now, what's the biggest difference in the game itself, you feel?
In the minor league level or the major league level?
Well, both, but like minor league to start, I guess.
The minor league, the biggest difference, there's definitely a lot more money at stake for when the players, make it. Obviously the players getting paid hasn't changed. It's amazing from 1991 to present day. They're probably still making the same amount of money on a month-to-month basis. And I think that's what's leading the whole contraction of 42 affiliated baseball teams. It's because Major League Baseball wants to reduce their expenses because they're going to have to pay these players more money. But I don't think the game has changed that much. And I think that, stadiums have gotten better. The facilities have gotten better. You got these, multi-million-dollar scoreboards in minor league ballparks now. I mean, it's really kind of a major league feel, but in terms of the entertainment in a more, smaller setting, which makes it that much more intimate and more appealing, I think, to go to a minor league game than it is to a major league game.
Sure. You talk about entertainment, and that's our number one thing here at the Jackfish is it's entertainment first, kind of baseball second. So,
yep.
We don't have as much saturation of baseball around this area as you used to in the early 90s. But, we still have the Bisons, we still have the Jays when they are playing, obviously. So, my question is, how important is entertainment away from the actual baseball playing to a minor league franchise than ever before?
Well, I think I agree with you. It's the most important thing. You're competing against the movie theaters, the theme parks, always kind of market the brand to the mom who's deciding what the family's going to do for entertainment. So yeah, definitely. I agree. It's, I don't think too many people when they're leaving the ballpark know whether their home team won or lost. They just know if they had a good hot dog, hey, they got a foul ball, they got a giveaway at the gate. They got a couple of, coupon vouchers as they were leaving the ballpark to go get pizza the next day. I think that's what you're creating is, where else can you go that you can sit with your family for 3 hours and have a conversation? I always equate baseball, and that's one of the main reasons I got into it. You go to a hockey game, baseball, football game, soccer game. The action is moving very fast. There's really no time to have a conversation with the people around you. But with baseball, it's real quality time that you have with your family and friends and, business associates. You can, that's the special part of the game. Just the pace of the game just lends itself to be more social, and and that's what people remember most. Like I said, when they leave the ballpark.
What are some of the promotions or events that you remember you put on with the Pirates that you were really proud of, and to this day you still enjoy seeing at a ball game?
I think we had this one promotion where fans could win a classy night on the town. We got a limousine company involved. We got a fine dining restaurant involved. We had Blake's Tuxedos. I don't know if they're still around. And then we had like a floral company get involved. So we had this promotion where you can win. Basically, it was a big contest that we ran for like a month, and then we drove a limousine out into the field, and we had announced who the winners were, and we whisked them off in the limousine to go out for dinner and just have a night out in Welland on us. We also had the All-Star game in Pittsburgh, so we had an All-Star game promotion, so fans had the opportunity to win tickets to go and experience that. I know that the bat giveaway, I know the Canadian Tire Acceptance at the time, they were sponsors of our bat night. That was always really big. We had a Don't Strike Out on Drugs program with the Niagara Regional Police. So we always had.
It's funny enough, we actually have the flag you guys gave away from, I don't know what year that is. 94 up there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So, it's those promotions that really get the community involved. I mean, we as working in baseball take it for granted to get on the field, but when the average fan gets to go on the field, throw out a first pitch, shake some hands with some players, they're going to remember that for the rest of their life. So I always try to get as many people onto the field as possible to kind of experience what that's like. We also had we get a group of kids can come on the field to lead the crowd and take me out to the ball game. The Y sponsored that. Again, it's just creating those memories. That's what, minor league baseball is all about.
For sure. Well, Brian, we thank you for coming on. One last thing, is there anything you'd like to, you came back last year for the first time in a while. Is there anything you'd like to say, the Welland faithful, about your time in Welland with the Pirates?
The people make it special. Keep in touch with a lot of people in Welland, and it's really nice to see you guys bring baseball back to that complex. I know other organizations have tried to do it in the past. It seems like you guys, I love your logo. I love the fact that it seemed like you had a really good, successful first year. And, I wish you guys all the best. And I look forward to coming back to visit and seeing a game in person and meeting you guys in person. And, that's hopefully we could do that here in the next little while.
That's great, Brian. Thank you very much for joining us. We really appreciate being our first guest in our new reimagined show. Right. And we wish you all the best. And we can't wait to see you maybe next summer. All right. Sounds good. Thanks so much, guys. Thank you. Well, Spence, that was great. It was awesome to have Brian on. I think I talked to him a couple times, and it was nice to actually finally get him, face to face, so to speak, because I remember they talked on the phone. But we have lots of guests lined up. Former Welland Pirate players, the former general manager of the the St. Catharines Stompers, and a couple other kind of secrets we have up our sleeve. So I'm really excited. Next week, 2 weeks time, we will be interviewing Scott Bullitt. He'll be on the show. Talk about his playing days here and actually, moving on from the Pirates and his career. So we're really excited about that one. And, join us in 2 weeks' time. We can't wait. Absolutely. I mean, it doesn't get better than this. It's a tough time right now, but if we can bring a smile to your face with anything Jackfish baseball, we're going to do it. And this is something we've been working on, and it's a major, major thing we want to be a part of. For sure. We got lots planned. We're not going anywhere. And we can't wait to see our fans at the field. We'll see you soon. Thanks for joining us. Go Jackfish. There you go.